you're a Carolina Panthers fan right
Holy
now,
smokes.
look at where you're a division leader at 7-6.
It really, because one of these teams, like the Lions, the Bears, potentially an NFC West team, one of them's not going to get in for this division. And in between the Panthers and the Bucs right now, they're trying not to get in.
Now, we should say, Luke, Panthers and Bucs are going to face each other twice in the final 3 weeks of the season. So I give the schedule makers credit, at least making this somewhat interesting.
I'm annoyed with the Bucs right now, Jay. I'm annoyed with this team.
Well, let's get into it, buddy. And Baker Mayfield, this is a stat from our guy, Hound Dog Harrison, our stats guy. 1-9 in prime time with the Tampa Bay Bucs, which just seems bewildering for a guy who should thrive in prime time.
Yeah, he seems like a prime time guy.
Absolutely. So how did they let a 14-point lead slip in the fourth?
Well, I'll start with the turnover, and then they couldn't execute. There were some bad throws there. I thought overall Baker had a good night throwing the football, but kind of down the stretch, and maybe Hound Dog's onto something. There was a few plays that he'd really like to have back. You look at this here again, when you have a DB that's dropping, you need someone in the flat to hold him underneath if you're going to try and slot this ball in there. Just can't happen. And again, I said the Falcons were trying to lose. How on earth? Jay, the Falcons recover this ball.
Yeah.
This was a massive play. And then here you go on 3rd and 14. You sit there, and Baker today had a bunch of potential rushes he couldn't get out of. But the big one here was the play before. It's 2nd and 14. It's great separation. This has got to be a completion all day. And the ball's just behind. That's the route you want. It's the play you want to call there. And you just miss the throw. And that's how you blow a 14-point lead. I'll be honest, Jay. If you're the Bucs right now, the Falcons sat there. I think they had 19 penalties. They were having penalties every play. And they went for 2 twice for no reason. We can't. Maybe we'll get into this.
Sure.
Down 14, we score a touchdown, go for 2, doesn't work. Now we're down 8. Oh, we got to go for 2 now, doesn't work. The Falcons were trying to lose this football game. And the Bucs no.
You seem almost more annoyed with the Bucs than any team I've seen you annoyed with all season.
Even the 4th down. The 4th down to me, it's 4th and 14. It's 3rd and 28 now. It's 4th and 14. If you're a DB, especially with Kirk Cousins, you got to know the history here. Kirk Cousins, we all remember him checking it down, though. He goes through his progressions. Bait him into checking it down.
Sure.
Why are we worried about the flat concept on 4th and 14? We call it the honey hole. You got to worry about the honey hole when you're that corner that's got responsibilities to the flat. No, we're going to make sure our guy doesn't hear. And Kurt zings one's right by our head, and now it's a first down.
It actually is amazing to me watching Kirk Cousins today.
Yeah, he was
that he never got a sniff from this team all season. They're so dialed in on Penix. I don't really understand that, because you look at this division.
Yeah.
If you had Cousins the whole wasn't there a chance that they're winning this division?
Absolutely. In my opinion, yes. And you go back, now this is kind of the knock on Kirk Cousins, is he has nights like tonight,
right,
where he threw for 376 and looked like an all-pro.
Yeah.
And the craziest part is Drake London, their best receiver, wasn't playing. And then there's other days where how did this happen? But I think if you're a Falcons fan, for the few Falcon fans that are out there, and you look at the division right now where 7-7 is the Bucs, 7-6 is the Panthers, you're now a 5-win team. Let me go back just a couple weeks ago to the Jets loss where you puked all over yourself. And there's 6, and there's a few other ones earlier on where you're there's no world with Bijan Robinson that they shouldn't be a 500 team. And it's a shame because, my goodness.
Well, it's a shame because the Carolina Panthers are now in the driver's seat to win this division at 7-6.
I'm happy for Dave Canales.
You know what? I was just going to say, that's one of your old coaches. And this is not the same Carolina Panthers. Let's be very clear. This is a better team than people realize, I think.
Sure.
But Tampa and Carolina playing each other twice in the next 4 weeks.
Yes.
Do you like Tampa's chances in that situation?
I do. Even after tonight, again, I'm not shocked that they blew this one, and I think that when they turn the film on, they'll be upset. But why I like it is you saw Mike Evans tonight, and he had a massive night. But also, they got all the weapons back, and they do have a ton of weapons. Again, it starts with Mike Evans, and he had some big plays tonight. Bucky Irvin got loose tonight. I thought they should have continued to try and get him the football, but he's a very, very good running back. And when I say all the weapons, none of these guys have been healthy all year. You see this guy right here, Jalen McMillan, he's a great weapon. He's a youngster. Emeka Egbuka is going to be better now that he has other people around him to take off coverage. He was really their only guy. And then Chris Godwin, again, like this is a sweet play. Great catch. See how he catches that and turns right away? That's a vet little play there. Make sure you can't knock the ball out. So, yeah, when I look at it, do I think they, in my opinion, when I'm looking at this, they should win all 3 games. But they also should have won tonight by about 15 points, and they are sitting here with a big L. I mean, it's hard. It's hard for me to fathom that they lost this game.
Let's talk, before we move on and tell you what's going to happen on Sunday night, I want to talk about Kyle Pitts. Because this guy, you know, they were saying he did something that the last tight end to do what he did in this game was Shannon Sharp.
Yeah, pretty good tight end.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
150 yards and 3 touchdowns. So has he arrived? Like, from what you see, you played the position.
Yeah.
Why hasn't this translated? Why hasn't this talent, which you see on display on a night like Thursday, why isn't this happening every week?
So I think there's a few things, and I think a lot of it is a trust factor. You know, tonight, quite frankly, they didn't have any, like it's Drake London usually, and that's kind of how they go through, and then everyone else gets kind of, you know, the scraps, if you will. And tonight it was like, yo, we're going to go to Pitts, and he clearly came through. And he's had a better year. You know, there's a few moments where you watch him, and Kirk Cousins was kind of yelling at him on the screen a little bit because they don't love everything that he does. But I'll say this, like, he is a very large man when you watch some of this stuff. And I think he catches the ball well. Like, he runs very well. You look at this route here. I mean, he absolutely dominated. Thought he was going to the flat, comes up the sideline. I mean, even that, at that size jumping, this is a really cool play design. I can't believe the Bucs fell for it, but that's neither here nor there. Where, a little delay. So part of the problem with this league is if you're not featured, sometimes it's tough. And I don't think he's ever really been featured or given the chance to have the night that he's had tonight. And again, I'll go through a couple of those plays. You have the little out and up, you know, Omaha and go was what we called it. And he won that rep. You know, the little delayed kind of looked like he was going to pivot, which is a pretty standard throw for Kirk Cousins, so that little pivot route. Wait, corner goes, and then he releases. Like, these are called plays for him.
Right.
So I do think with Drake London back, you know, hopefully in the near future, that this offense has a ton of weapons. And that's why I say it's a shame that they've puked all over themselves this year, because you want to talk about who I think probably the best offense is talent-wise in that division. It's Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, and Kirk Cousins, who looked like John Elway tonight.
Can we talk about the Sunday Nighter? I am so fired up for this game.
It's going to be sweet.
To quote my friend Kate Burness, look at this. The Minnesota Vikings. J.J. McCarthy blew everyone away last week.
Yeah.
You got the Dallas Cowboys. Speaking of divisions that are still up for grabs,
that's what I was going to say.
They are not out of the NFC East.
They're not out of it. And the way that the Eagles' offense is operating right now, I mean, they have snoozers left, but 2 of those are a division game in the Commanders, I believe, twice. The Commanders can get a little freaky and win one of those, and now all of a sudden the pressure gets going here.
Dallas is a 6.5-point favorite to win their 4th game in their last 5. Join us after the game for our show.